Well, it seems that unfortunately for Labour, they've only got one decision left, and that decision will become clear very, very soon. You see, they've been doing a bit of flip-flopping on using military sites for asylum seekers, and it might end up costing more, apparently, than pricey hotels. Strangely, you'd think it'd be cheaper, wouldn't you? But not from what this says. Plus, there are apparently some big legal and safety headaches to deal with, according to officials. And Sabima Mahood, the Home Secretary, is apparently gearing up to announce this big policy change after Keir Starmer told the Home Office to hurry up and shut down those migrant hotels. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think illegal migrants should be anywhere in the country, let alone hotels, especially if they come from the safe country of France, which from what I'm aware 99% of them do, or maybe even 100%. But Labour, from what I've heard, have realised that people don't want them in the hotels, but they got their priorities a bit wrong by thinking that somehow would be okay with putting them up in rented houses, but then of course found out that that actually wasn't such a good idea, and then went on to this one in, one out system, forgetting the fact that if we have another one in, then that is not exactly getting the numbers down and therefore putting an extra burden on our services, eh? So we've now come up with the latest Labour brainwave, which of course is putting all these illegal boat people in the army barracks, which obviously, yes, is better than putting them in 4-star hotels. I personally think they should have put them all on the Bibby Stockholm and kept them there, and they could have had loads of Bibby Stockholms in the sea, couldn't they? But I guess that would have made all the lefties cry with tears at a deterrent such as that, eh? Although hopefully this army barracks one would be much more of a deterrent than these luxury 4-star hotels, I'm guessing. But I can't myself understand why it's going to cost more. So therefore, in my opinion, they do have one choice left, and that is when they come in, to port them straight away back to the safe country of France. But apparently Sabima Mahood isn't too worried about the money. She's more focused on boosting public confidence and ready to take it to court if needed. Labour has been against using military sites for this purpose before, but they didn't manage to close the last 2 sites. Instead, the government has extended the use of RAF Wethersfield in Essex and Napier Barracks in Kent. Military commanders are teaming up with the Home Office's Border Security Command, apparently they're actually doing something now it seems, to scout out more spots for temporary housing, like apparently those prefab modular units. Now, from what I've heard, they've done this before during the COVID pandemic when prison space ran out, even though officials are warning that this could cost taxpayers more than the current £5.77 million daily hotel bill. And ministers are pushing forward. Now, the last time the Conservative government tried this, it went 12 times over budget. There is also logistical nightmares to consider, apparently, like asbestos in buildings. Oh no, how could we possibly put them through that? All the lefties are bound to say, well, think about it. A lot of properties around the country have asbestos in them still, don't they? And if a lot of our people have to put up with that, then I personally don't think there's nothing wrong with these guys putting up with it. Especially, remember, they could, if they wanted to, stayed in the safe country of France, from what I'm aware anyway. There's also land contaminated apparently with military chemicals and unexploded ordnance. Oh, wouldn't that be a shame? The Home Office officials, though, they mentioned they've learned a lot from past mistakes, and another issue is remote locations of those sites, which lack apparently nearby healthcare, education and transport. This means extra costs to meet legal requirements for providing basic care to asylum seekers. Well, hang on, I don't understand why we need to provide them with any of that sort of stuff. I mean, it's our tax money at the end of the day. And yes, okay, maybe a little bit of healthcare, as they say, is basic care, but they shouldn't be allowed to skip the queues. It's not fair to a lot of vulnerable people, is it, eh? But back in March, the High Court said the Home Office acted unlawfully, apparently, housing 3 vulnerable asylum seekers at the former RAF Wethersfield site. There were plenty of warnings about how unsuitable it was, included from the Independent Chief Inspector of Borders and Immigration. He reported disorder and violence. Now, I don't know about you, but personally I think if a base like RAF Wethersfield is suitable or appears suitable for our soldiers, then I don't see why it is unsuitable for people who are trying to claim asylum illegally. Remember, they entered the country. So at the end of the day, you'd think, wouldn't you, they'd be happy wherever they laid their hat, but it appears they're not. So I guess maybe, just maybe, whether the government likes it or not, they are economic migrants, and I think the sooner the government realises that, the better.